Live on KPRC-TV and the KPRC2 Plus live stream. The news starts now.
And I kept telling her I loved her when they took her out of the house.
I have reached out to CenterPoint more times than I can really tell you.
I think they ought to cover some of the expense of their mistake. They're kind of too big and didn't handle the disaster properly.
We have a lot of people on oxygen. We have a lot of people on CPAP machines. I don't understand why there's no one here.
It's such a large city. Like, it's going to take a long time, a lot of investment to get ready for another storm. I don't see that happening. It's just a lot of talk.
Nobody could give me a response. Nobody could give me a time frame, nothing.
If you could speak with anyone at CenterPoint today, what would you say or ask them?
Why couldn't you have done better? Why did my sister have to die because of what happened?
We're only on two after months of pushing for answers. An exclusive interview with CenterPoint's CEO. It's been a 4.5-month journey of customers wanting answers after the May derecho and Hurricane Beryl in July left millions without power for weeks. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Daniela Guzman. Well, during the 4 p.m. newscast, we aired the entire interview, and we want to hear from you. What did you think of the exclusive interview, which you can watch again on click2houston.com. Right now, about half of the audience, they were really angry as they were listening to that interview, but a quarter liked what the CEO had to say.
Joining us now is our Gage Goulding to share his thoughts on the conversation. Gage, you're joining us here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we took away from this was a nearly 20-minute long interview with the CEO. And mind you, this is the first time he has spoken with us and anybody really since the derecho, since Hurricane Beryl earlier this year, nearly half a year. And we talked about all kinds of different topics. We talked about the failures of CenterPoint, which everybody is kind of worried about. We also talked about the future of CenterPoint in the rates and everything that people have been kind of compiling these questions. And we have too. We've heard those concerns and we've heard your concerns and wanting to share those as well. What this is here is the most important. This is the highlights of what we learned. And I think what you're going to see might open your eyes. Well, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
So let's start out with, I think, the biggest thing that we've heard from our viewers in the Houston community. These allegations from the city of Houston and 40 other communities that CenterPoint Energy has been overcharging customers to the tune of about $100 million a year. Is that happening? What's your response?
I don't think that we're overcharging our customers $100 million. I know there's been some frustration with our withdrawal of our rate case, and I think it's helpful to put a little context behind that. You know, we often seek recovery throughout the year for our capital investments. The rate case that we filed, we have to file once every 4 years, and that really sets the profit on those capital investments.
There was the rate hike and then the withdrawal, and then there was an increase in September. So can you help us understand what exactly that means?
The way that the transmission lines, the large lines that move power across the state of Texas, those lines are often shared. And so as some of our peer utilities modify their rates, those impact our transmission charges. In the foreseeable future here, this year, we're going to see a rate reduction from some charges rolling off the bill.
Hurricane Beryl and the May derecho are really a 1-2 sucker punch for the Houston metro area. Do you feel that CenterPoint failed customers during that time?
I know I personally let our customers down with both of those events, and for that I'm deeply apologetic. We will be better. I'm determined to be better, that we will be better. All of the team here at CenterPoint is determined to re-earn our customers' trust.
We know that at least 10 deaths were attributed to hyperthermia or dying of overheating. Do you think CenterPoint has to share the blame for that?
All loss of life is terribly tragic. My heart goes out to those families who have lost their loved ones.
This is an interview that my colleague Rowan Balogan did with a woman who lost a loved one. And I want to show this to you and genuinely get your raw and honest thoughts.
The Public Utilities Commission, who oversees CenterPoint, is talking about Hurricane Beryl and what went wrong. What would you like that board to do?
They need to get to work. They need to examine the people at CenterPoint and what they're doing.
If you could speak with anyone at CenterPoint today, what would you say or ask them?
Why couldn't you have done better? Why did my sister have to die because of what happened?
I'm so deeply sorry. Any loss of life is incredibly tragic. Obviously, emotionally, that hits me in the stomach, and that is why we are so determined to build a grid that our customers expect and deserve.
There's a lot of distrust right now between the Houston area and CenterPoint. How do you plan on restoring that trust?
I believe that making sure that we execute on the actions we commit to is that first step of beginning to rebuild trust.
How are we doing that?
We've made significant investments in our transmission system and our substation. The next frontier is really building the distribution grid of the future. There's equipment that we are going to blitz our system with before June 1st next year that will automatically restore power without having to send a crew. We knew we weren't done. The second phase is getting us ready for next hurricane season, and then the third phase that we will roll out at the end of January of 25 will be that longer-term plan that really will deliver that most resilient coastal grid that we have promised.
Right here, right now, what is your promise to Houstonians far and wide for how CenterPoint will handle them and take care of them in their time of need?
We will absolutely be better. We will be the utility, the company that our customers expect of us. We'll be there understanding their needs in the community before a storm hits. We will have less outages. We will restore faster, and we will be empathetic to the experiences that they have. We will be a good neighbor, if you will, for our community that we have the great privilege to serve.
Be a good neighbor.
Wow.
You hear the be better, we want to be better. The thing that I took away from this the most is it sounded and felt very authentic in the conversations. And I want to, for everybody watching at home, there was no questions prepared. All of this was a first-time approach for them. So I know a lot of times people are wondering, did they get to see this video clip beforehand from Rowan Belogan? And that was...
Or did he prepare?
This was all raw in Rio. And a couple of the big things that I saw were those dates, right? We're in phase 2 of this resiliency plan. That's going to be wrapped up first month of next year, January. And then the goal is to have that blitz we were actually talking about as the story was running, to have all of this equipment installed. That way, if we do have a storm next year, another hurricane, next hurricane season is June 1st, right? That way, the grid will be more prepared to hopefully take another punch. That's the important stuff.
I know this could take years, obviously, to implement all these things that he would like to do, but it sounds like that moving forward, like they know that all eyes are on CenterPoint, and there's no way they can mess this up moving forward. And the fact that they flew in people from Florida who have experience with this and have done it successfully, they're reaching out to experts. Like, it sounds like they really want to get this right for the customers.
I was going to say there's a big focus on what's happening right now in the Southeast with Hurricane Helene and how they are handling this, right? But they also flew in experts from the 04-05 hurricane season. That's Katrina, that's Ike, right? Those are times where people had to rebuild. So they were tapping on those experts there. And that's one of the things I saw on our website, clicktohouston.com. People were commenting on our links. I'll be there all night answering questions. And one thing that somebody said was, hey, I saw that this might take time. We need to understand that. We need to water under the bridge. We need to not be upset, but we need to almost support CenterPoint in the future endeavors. And really, their money's our money, and what they do is how we keep our lights and AC on. So it is more of a marathon, less a sprint.
Yeah, I think one level of frustration that so many people have is how can we be in 2024 and in the state of Texas, which is the energy capital of the world, literally, and be without power for so long when we have a storm like this?
Yeah, and I think the big answer is, you can kind of see it behind us here, if we pop us back up, these big electrical lines behind us. That is part of that self-healing grid that they're talking about. So there's going to be a lot of projects to...
I'm really interested in about that self-healing. I mean, that's some really interesting technology that a lot of cities are already doing, and would love to have it here in Houston and Texas.
Absolutely. We'll be online throughout the night. I'll answer any questions, so please pop on, clicktohouston.com. I'll be happy to answer whatever you have.
We'll also have much more at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gage, thank you. And investigator Amy Davis, she's going to pick up our team coverage now. She watched this interview along with electric customers who have shared concerns, and Texas Senator Carol Alvarado.
Amy got the group's take on how they felt listening to the CEO of CenterPoint Energy.
Frustrated because it feels like now they're trying to take action after something happened. And it feels like every year it's the same situation. When we get through a storm, then things happen, and then now they're going to try to replace. Now they're going to try to trim trees. Now they're going to try to do all of these things that should have been done in preparation, because every year we're going to get at least a storm. I mean, this is going to continue. It's not going to get any better, actually. So, you know, he says that he's going to get things better, but not exactly how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
At what cost is that going to happen? And what exactly is he going to do?
It's nice to hear that they're going to plan to do some stuff, but you know, they haven't done it in the past. And as I mentioned to you earlier, that, you know, we have a pretty diverse community from expats around the world, and they indicate that this is the least reliable electric grid they've ever lived on, depending whether they've been in Asia or the African continent or wherever, working in the energy business. So that's a pretty sorry state for the United States to have a fourth largest city have an unreliable grid, and everybody in the neighborhood is considering, you know, putting in a generator. Really, we need to put in our own generators just to have reliable electricity?
Right.
You know, that flies in the face of everything that we stand for as America, in my mind.
And not that everyone can afford a generator.
Correct.
Or a whole house generator.
And we're paying more for power now than we ever have.
And I brought that up in the hearing. We're getting into this situation of the haves and the have-nots, when if you can just do what the basic things that you should be doing, addressing vegetation and such, and hardening your infrastructure, then that remedies most of that.
Well, you still have a chance to voice your concerns. The Public Utility Commission is coming to Houston this Saturday morning to hear from you. How do you think CenterPoint performed in restoring power? Your feedback could also play a role in the rates we all pay on electric bills. Investigator Amy Davis will be there Saturday morning. It's at 9 o'clock at the Harris County Department of Education building at 6300 Irvington on the 5th floor. You can just show up and sign up to speak when you get there. We'll also live stream it on click2houston.com. Check our website right now for all the information that you need.
A terrifying bus crash in